Starts with. Am I gonna need an Ethernet cable? Morning, chat. Morning. Just doing something, getting the thumbnail ready for Saturday. What's today? Thursday night. One more night of work. One more night of work. Good morning, Jeremiah. What do you want, Echo? Echo, you know the routine, dude. It's not bedtime yet. I know you want attention. I know you want some attention. Making a thumbnail pic real quick. I don't know if I should use this one or this one. I think this one's better. Echo, you breathing all loud, bud. What you breathing all loud for? I'm gonna turn down the exposure so you can see the colors better. Yeah. Yeah. Turn up the highlights and drop down the shadows. There we go. Saturation. Warmth. Something like that. That looks good. I'm gonna put this into my phone. One moment and we'll get started. We're going to start on 2 Samuel today. King David. David becomes king. The reigning king. Saul's dead. He did. Ain't no sense praying for Saul no more. He gone. Yep, Saturday night. I'm making the thumbnail right now. I'll show you the... I have to add like text to it and sharpness in the thumbnail app, but the picture is right here. That's the thumbnail pic. Yeah, I like that. Now it's just the question of this little table next to me, if it's going to be big enough. As long as it can... What the crap is on this table? I just cleaned this table and it's got crap all over it. I'm going to have to clean this whole area with a new rag. I used an old sponge. I have to clean all this. We'll move the Lego set over there, put the keyboard over here, and I'll have this table and this table. as long as I can get this table's little, I can build the motherboard right here, set the case on this, move it over here, have the camera up higher pointed down, have this camera so you can see me doing stuff over here, have another camera pointed down that I can move around. I'm probably going to need to untangle these wires so the camera can move around a little freely. That should work out all right. And then once I get the new computer hooked up, I can stop using this USB cord and use I got an MXL cord, I just haven't hooked it up yet. And I have an interface, so I can hook up the MXL cable to the interface, run the mic through the MXL instead of through the USB. Shouldn't sound too different, but it'll make it sound a little better. I'm gonna need to get a power cord for this disk drive. And then I'm just gonna get it built. And then I'm gonna have to set up the mic boom. That's gonna be a little project within not the mic boom, the monitor arms. That's gonna be a little project in itself. Clamp them to the table, hook up the monitor, get the computer running, do the BIOS, do the setup of Windows, get all my programs put on it. And then hopefully the goal is to test out one game before the end of the stream. And Saturday night streams are usually like 14 hours, so there should be plenty of time to build it, get everything running, get Steam on it, download Dying Light 2, and we can test out Dying Light 2. Probably not a great game for benchmarking, but I'm trying to think. I'm not going to have money to buy a new game until next week. Next week, we can test out some, I'll get like Final Fantasy 16 or something. There's a game I was looking at called Expedition 33. Asmongold was playing it, and it looks pretty sick. Am I keeping the same desk? No, next week when I get paid, I'm going to order a different desk. A bigger, sturdier desk. Still just an Amazon desk, but it's going to be more space. Actually, I didn't check the width. Is the width bigger? That one seems thinner than this one. Let me see. Where's my dimensions? Okay, so this desk is 19 inches wide. The one I'm going to get is 20 inches wide. But it has a little shelf that takes up 8 inches. That's why it looks thinner, because of that shelf. But I could take that shelf out on this side if I want. I might do that. I might not have the shelf. The shelf adds another level of things to set stuff on. I don't know. I might use the shelf. I might not. But it's got an extra section here where I can put the computer right here. So you'll be able to see the computer in the shot. I've heard of that. It's supposed to be GOTY. What does that mean? Goty. God of the Gotti. Goaty. Supposed to be, the get out of the yard. What's Goaty mean? Oh, game of the year. Expedition 33. That's what Asmongold was saying. I was watching him play it. It looks pretty sick. Yeah, I might want to get that. But I don't know if that's like a good. Or I might just get Cyberpunk just so I can like do benchmarking and see what the ray tracing's like and all that stuff. That's like the benchmark testing game. But I have Dying Light 2 and I never got to play it because it won't run on this computer. I've had it for like 2 years now and I've never played it. I really wanted to play it. So that'll be the first game I download. I have Grand Theft Auto 5. They said there's like a new Grand Theft Auto 5 Extreme or something like that. Is that a free upgrade? I've got Marvel Rivals. We could do some benchmarking on Marvel Rivals, see what online, because that game is usually real high frame rates. I have Hogwarts Legacy. People do benchmarking with that. GTA 6 before too long too. Yeah, but is the free upgrade or is the upgraded Grand Theft Auto like a free download? Or you have to pay for that? What's it called? It's like Grand Theft Auto 5 Extreme or something like that. Anyway, enough nerd talk. We're here for the bibliotech. The biblioteca. We're on 2 Samuel, also known as the second book of Kings. We're not going to do what we normally do when we get to a new book, which is look at where the oldest manuscripts were found, who the writers were, what time we think it was written in compared to what time we found the first manuscripts, because it's all going to be the same as 1 Samuel. The Dead Sea Scrolls don't actually include large chunks of 1 and 2 Samuel. So I think the oldest complete manuscripts we have is what Lexicon Codex or whatever it's called. What they made the Masoretic text off of, or the Septuagint. Well, the Septuagint's older, but the Septuagint, both of them go off of what's it called? The Lexicon Codex or whatever. Because the Dead Sea Scrolls don't have all of 1 and 2 Samuel. Also known as 2 Kings. 1 Kings is actually 3 Kings. 2 Kings is actually 4 Kings. 1 and 2 Samuel are 1 and 2 Kings. 1 and 2 Kings are 3rd and 4th Kings. So there's 4 books of Kings. But we just call this the 2nd book of Samuel, otherwise called the 2nd book of the Kings. And this is King David. Saul died last time. Currently, David has... Did I say Samuel is king just now? David's king. Currently, David's got 2 wives. I think we meet Solomon somewhere in here. But Solomon doesn't become king. Solomon's not a major plot point in this. This is 2 Samuel mainly focuses on King David's reign. We are going to get the Bathsheba incident. The thumbnail is a painting of David watching Bathsheba bathe. Sheba. Is that where we get the word bathe from? Bathsheba? Am I saying the right name? It's Bathsheba, right? Is the one that he yeah. He watches her from the rooftop. Some people say he well, I'm not gonna say that. We'll talk about it when I read it. Yeah. Doesn't he send his husband to the front lines of battle after he sees her bathe? Yeah, he falls in lust instantly. He sees her bathing and he just watches her from the rooftop. Kind of like a creeper, but it's a common theme. It's a theme of every man in the Bible. Adam, not every man, but Adam, Samson, Solomon, David. They often have a weakness for the ladies, a penchant for the woman. Is that the right word there? What up, Fredo? It's a common theme throughout all the men, not all the men, but a lot of the men, a lot of the best men throughout the Bible fall to the woman. Except Jesus. Because Jesus was born of the Spirit from birth. He came out of a woman, but his father was God, so he was perfect from birth. Penchant is right, yeah. Whereas Eve made the devil her god, and Adam made Eve his god. Samson, you know, we talked about his weakness for the ladies. Solomon was a great king until his 600 wives and concubines, he started building statues to their gods. He was simping. Solomon was simping. Simpolomon. He was simping too. David, all of them. All of them, they slipping, falling. I can't get up. For these women, it's a common theme. It's a weakness, you know? You could be the strongest. You could be the wisest. You could be the greatest king. You could be a man after God's own heart. You could be the first man. The woman gonna have the cess. Oh, the woman gonna have the cess, and the man's gonna give it to her. You know? It's the theme. And I think that's why Jesus never gets married unless you listen to that feminist lady. By the way, Rachel Wilson was on, what's it called? What's the Crowder reject show called on the Blaze? It's got all of the people who turned on Crowder, Dave Landau and Quarter Black Garrett. The Crowder reject show. What's that show called? Dave Landau and Quarter Black Garrett. Yeah. She was on there, and I got a Normal America. Yeah, I got a fact check. Isn't that the name of Rob Noor's show? It is pretty funny. Normal America with Rob Noor. Rob's show is called Normal America. They stole Rob's show's name. I thought it was called something else. I don't know. But anyway, Rachel was on there. It was pretty good. I got a fact checker on something though. But I think her slip up was because Dave interjected So she was talking about this woman named Kate. Normal World. Yeah, Normal World. Yeah, and Rob's is Normal America. She was talking about this woman from Harvard. Her name's Kate. Hold on, it's somewhere in my phone. Um. Anyway, this lady from Harvard says that she found scripture that didn't make it into the Bible, and Rachel's talking about it, and Rob says, "Oh, is that the Gospel of Thomas you're talking about?" And then I think he like threw Rachel's thoughts off because she said, "Yeah, the Gospel of Thomas." Well, the Gospel of Thomas was actually a forgery from this lady from Harvard. That's not accurate. The forgery from the lady from Harvard was called the Gospel of Jesus' Wife or something like that. It's called I think it's called the Gospel of Jesus' Wife or the Wife of Jesus, the Gospel of the Wife of Jesus. And the lady's name is Kate something. Hold on. I knew this, and I don't know why I'm looking on my phone when it should be in my computer. Karen King. What'd I say? Kate? I knew it started with a K. Karen King was the Harvard professor, and she it's not the Gospel of Thomas, it's called the Gospel of Jesus' Wife. That is a forgery that she made up, and they found out she made up that forgery, and it was totally debunked, and it was some feminist Bible gobbledygook nonsense. And that's what Rachel was talking about. But at some point, Dave's like, "Oh, you talking about because Rachel couldn't remember the name of it." And he's like, "You mean the Gospel of Thomas?" And she's like, "Yeah, the Gospel of Thomas. She forged the Gospel of Thomas." Uh, that's not accurate. Those are two separate things. The Gospel of Jesus' Wife is the forgery that she made up. The Gospel of Thomas is a Gnostic gospel that they found at the Nag Hammadi library or something like that. Yeah, the Nag Hammadi library. So two different things. And they kind of got them mixed up, and I think it's because Dave interjected and threw her off her train of thought or something. But yeah, that's why women shouldn't be educated because they be making up gospels. Yeah, I know. Women shouldn't even know how to write because then they write stupid shit like that. Dang, see, Sal? Well, Rachel wrote a book. I know. That's why we need to bring back Neo-Gastonianism. We need to bring back some Neo-Gastonianism. Gaston wouldn't let Belle read no dang books, but she got with the beast, the furry. She got with the gay furry in the castle instead of Gaston, who was based Alpha Chad. Remember, Gaston grabbed the book out of her hand and he's like, "What are you reading for?" Throws the book. Dude, Gaston was a G. They call me G like Gaston. That sounds like a Lil Wayne bar. I'm a G like Gaston. All my G's move loud like Gaston. Anyway. But yeah, that woman wrote the Gospel of Jesus' Wife. And people have asked me if I've read that before. They're on streams and stuff. They're like, "Well, have you read about the Gospel of Jesus' Wife?" No, because I don't read garbage. Actually, I probably will read it someday, but I'm going to go into it knowing that it's fake and trash. And then people say the Gospel of Thomas is based. No, it's not. No, it is not based. Matthew, where's Matthew? Matthew's like, "I kind of like the Gospel of Thomas." Shut up. Shut up. Gospel of Thomas is garbage. Gaston was the hero we needed. Instead, we get freaking furry beast. Gay. You notice the colors they wear. Gaston's got the red. Gaston is a Republican. He's a patriarch. He's a man. He's a hunter. He's loved by the women and envied by the men. All the women want him, but he is a good man. He doesn't want these hoes. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say hoes. We're doing a Bible stream. Whores. He doesn't want these whores. Let's use biblical language if we're going to be doing a Bible stream. Don't say hoes, boys and girls. Say whores. He doesn't want these whores. He wants Belle. He wants the belle of the ball. He's got his eye on Belle, and he wants Belle. But she's trying to read. She's a feminist. She's a French sexual revolutionary. She want to learn how to read. She want to be a strong, independent woman. Then she finds crybaby beast simp boy, furry, hiding up in the castle, talking to inanimate objects. Garbage. Whores sound worse. I know, but it's more biblically accurate. Whores, harlots, yes. Don't say sluts. Don't say hoes. You call them whores and harlots. And Jezebels, that's right. There you go. Dang old Delilahs. Okay. Enough lead up. Second book of Samuel. What are we getting out of here? We're going to get Bathsheba story. We're going to get the second mention of David and Goliath, which we talked about when we went through the first thing with Goliath, with the issues in the translations with the et and the ahi, and how if you're text critical, you realize that this is a scribal corruption. It's not it's not a cover up. It's not a conspiracy theory. But we will in 2 Samuel 21, not today, but we will see David and Goliath story with a slight error in the text. And then we'll also see it again in Chronicles. But anyway, let's get to this. The second book of Samuel, otherwise called the second book of the Kings, chapter 1. Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had abode 2 days in Ziklag. It came even to pass on the third day that, behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes rent and earth upon his head. And so it was when he came to David that he fell to the earth and did obeisance. And David said unto him, obeisance, I guess that means he bowed to him. And David said unto him, from whence comest thou? And he said unto him, out of the camp of Israel am I escaped. And David said unto him, how went the matter? I pray thee, tell me. And he answered that the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people also are fallen and dead. And Saul and Jonathan his son are dead also. So David's just now finding out about the death of Saul. Oh, Sisal, were you here the other day where we were talking about the witch in the woods and Saul talking to Samson's ghost? What do you think about... This isn't it's something that I mentioned, and then we looked into it, and it turns out it is something that people kind of debate. I don't think that was actually Samson's ghost. I think it was a demon. But there's multiple arguments. Some Orthodox people believe it was actually the witch throwing her voice, because the word used in the Septuagint translates to ventriloquist, that the woman was a ventriloquist. So they think that Saul didn't actually see the ghost. He was talking to the woman, and she was doing an impression of Samson, which doesn't make any sense. But I don't know if that's an Orthodox teaching. It's just something some people have gotten from the Septuagint, because the word there means ventriloquist. But I think it was a demon. What do you think, Sisal? You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the woman from Endor. The woman from Endor, the witch, the familiar spirit lady that Saul goes to, and it says God's not with Saul right now, and he's trying to ask God what he should do. So he goes to the witch and he says, I need to talk to Samuel. And Samuel's ghost comes. And Saul talks to Samuel's ghost, and Samuel's ghost tells Saul he's going to die tomorrow and his sons. And sure enough, they die. But some people say that it's actually a demon, and I kind of lean towards that. Just because when I read it, it sounds off. I'm like, this ain't Samuel. This is a dang demon. A demon got me. I don't know if you were here for that, Seesaw, and I was wondering what you thought about that. If you even know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so David's just now finding out about the battle where Saul and Jonathan and all his sons died. And David said unto the young man that told him, How knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead? And the young man that told him said, As I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear. Okay, so see, that's... And lo, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. I kind of want to look in my concordance, because here it says spear, here it says sword. So, I mean, it could be a simple, again, like a simple scribal error. Could be that a different scribe is writing this section, like maybe Nathan or Gad, because Samuel's dead. Samuel been dead. So Samuel's not writing this. So we would assume that it's Nathan or Gad or an unnamed scribe who's writing this. And it could be something simple. And again, when you have, it's the old line about, like, if 5 people see a car accident and then they all tell the story, there's going to be slight differences in the story, and you would expect that. But now this one's saying a spear. In 1 Samuel 31, it says a sword. It's not a huge difference. I don't think I don't think any, like, atheists are going to jump on that and be like, oh, look at that. But you know what they would say? They'd be like, well, I thought the Bible was inerrant. How come it says a sword here and a spear here? It's just either a different scribe, or if we looked into the concordance, I'm sure the translations of the words are very similar. The Hebrew is probably very close between spear and sword. So there's a lot of explanations for why that could be. Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me and called unto me. And I answered, Here am I. And he said unto me, Who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. So David didn't kill all the Amalekites. There could be more Amalekites than just one tribe of them. He said unto me again, Stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me. For anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. So I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my Lord. Now that is a big difference. Spear and sword. Spear and sword is a simple mistake, but this is... Now, it could just be that this guy's lying. So 1 Samuel 31, it says, Then said Saul unto his armor bearer, Draw thy sword and thrust me through thrust me therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through and abuse me. But his armor bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. Therefore Saul took a sword and fell upon it. And when his armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword and died with him. So Saul died, and his 3 sons, and his armor bearer, and all his men that same day together. But now this Amalekite says, I answered him, I am an Amalekite. He said unto me, Stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. So I stood upon him, and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head, and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my lord. Huh. Okay, now I gotta look into this. We haven't even got that far. Differences. I'm guessing it's gonna be either this Amalekite, we can't trust him. This Amalekite that's talking to David. Maybe he's trying to build himself up as the Kingslayer, when in reality he just found Saul's dead body. Differences. And it might be explained hereafter. Maybe I should just keep reading, but I want to look into this first. Maybe I'm about to get a spoiler. Differences between 1 Samuel 31 and 2 Samuel 1. The main difference between 1 Samuel 31 and 2 Samuel 1 lies in how they describe King Saul's death. 1 Samuel 31 states that Saul instructed his armor-bearer to kill him, and when the armor-bearer refused, Saul fell on his sword. 2 Samuel 1, however, attributes Saul's death to an Amalekite who claimed to have followed Saul's instructions. The discrepancy has led to scholarly debate about which account is more accurate. It depends on who wrote it, and we don't know for sure if it was Nathan or Gad or somebody else. I mean, I would think, if I'm just using my stupid brain logic here, I don't trust this Amalekite. I think he's lying, trying to build himself up to make himself look like the Kingslayer. Maybe he gets some sort of, maybe he thinks he's going to get some sort of like, but why would you tell David? Maybe he thinks that David will be happy that he killed Saul because now David gets to be king, and plus Saul was always trying to kill David. Let me see. Here's a more detailed breakdown. The contradiction, the key disagreement lies in who is said to have carried out the act of killing Saul. Attributes the act to Saul's armor bearer who refused, then Saul's self-inflicted act. Assigns it to an Amalekite who is said to act on Saul's instruction. Some scholars suggest that 2 Samuel 1 account is a later embellished version, possibly added to downplay the fact that Saul died by his own hand. Others believe the Amalekite story might be a separate incident or an attempt to take credit for Saul's death. That's what I think. So I think I agree with those scholars that said that. Both chapters offer narratives, but that does make sense too. A later scroll would kind of change the story to make it not look like Saul died. But is it more honorable? Is it more honorable to die at the hands of the enemy Amalekite soldier? Some nameless henchman Amalekite guy, or to die by your own hand in battle? Like the Japanese, and the Bible was written in the East, would say it's more honorable to die by your own hand. What's that called? Not Yakuza. Harikari? Is it Harikari that I'm thinking of? Where they fall on their own sword? Seppuku. Harikari or seppuku. Ritual suicide by disembowelment, traditionally associated with samurai, was used to restore honor. Harikari is seppuku. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. But this is what I do. I try to think about it myself and think, how do I explain this? There seems to be a contradiction here. How would I explain this? Then I look into it and I see that there are people who think the same thing I think. And that's one of the common explanations for it, which leads me to believe that, yeah, that kind of makes sense. That we don't trust this Amalekite. He's lying. He's trying to make himself look like, I killed the king. And I got his crown and his bracelet. And maybe he thinks that David is going to reward him for this. But I don't think David's going to reward him. Let's see. Then David took hold on his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until even, for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. Fallen by the sword? And that's just an expression. It means they lost the battle. And David said unto the young man that told him, Whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite. And David said unto him, How wast thou not afraid to stretch forth thine hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? And David called one of the young men and said, Go near and fall upon him. And he smote him that he died. So if he was thinking he was going to get some sort of reward for telling David that he killed Saul, because, maybe there's been stories that this David guy, this Saul guy is always hunting this David guy, and this David guy's always got to hide in the wilderness. Maybe if I tell him I killed Saul, he'll be happy and he'll reward me. But that's not what happened. David murked him. And David said unto him, Thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth hath testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. And David lamented with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son. Also, he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher, The beauty of Israel is slain upon thy high places. How are the mighty fallen? Tell it not in Gath, publish it not in the streets of Ascalon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumph. I like that. How the mighty have fallen. I didn't know that was a biblical expression. Huh. Dude, everything comes from the Bible. Everything cool comes from the Bible. Except for Only God Can Judge Me. That comes from Tupac. Not ironic that an Amalekite killed Saul. Jonathan was David's best friend. Bible says they were like brothers. Yeah, I get that, but why do you think in chapter 31 of 1 Samuel it says that Saul killed himself? He fell on his sword. But then in chapter 1 of 2 Samuel, the Amalekite says he killed Saul. I think the Amalekite was lying. But the other explanation is possible, that this was written later, and the scribe who wrote this later didn't want to write about Saul killing himself, so instead he kind of changed the story a little bit to make Saul, because if that was dishonorable, then that would be bad. But I don't know. I think I don't know. It depends on if the Israelites thought it was better to die by your own hand than by your enemies. If that would be considered dishonorable. I don't know. Ye mountains of Gilboa. I'm going to stick with the Amalekite guy was lying, hoping he was going to get a reward for being the Kingslayer. And instead David murked him. Stupid mistake. That's what I'm going to go with. I just want to highlight something real quick. in case this ever comes up in a debate or something. I want to have a note of it. One second. I mean, it is still kind of like, it's not seppuku, but it is like he just basically said, hey, but this is not his armor bearer. His armor bearer died. So there is an inconsistency between these two stories. But less knowledgeable people would think that both of these are written by the same person. They're not. Not that I'm like some guru of knowledge, but I've been doing the education. And now you guys know the education. Contradicting stories of Saul's death. Question mark. Likely Amalekite was lying. Was lying, or 2 Samuel, scribe changed story to make Saul look better. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumph. Ye mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew, neither let there be rain upon you, nor fields of offerings. For there the shield of the mighty is vilely. There the shield of the mighty is vilely cast away, the shield of Saul, as though he had not been anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan turned not back, and the sword of Saul returned not empty. Saul and Jonathan were lovely and pleasant in their lives. Well, Jonathan was, but Saul, maybe not so much. And in their death, they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles. They were stronger than lions. Ye daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you in scarlet, with other delights, who put on ornaments of gold upon your apparel. How are the mighty fallen in the midst of the battle? O Jonathan, thou wast slain in thy high places. I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant hast thou been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. Passing the love of women. Well, women got fake love. Sorry, Seesaw. Except for Mama's love. Mama's love is so special. How are the mighty fallen, and the weapons of war perished? That sounds like a song of David. Now David's going to be made king in chapter 2. And it came to pass after this that David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, go up. And David said, whither shall I go up? And he said, unto Hebron. That's a verse the gays use to excuse their gayness. I didn't want to say anything, Seesaw, but it seemed a little like, see, when I read these things, I read that and it makes sense to me. His brother Jonathan, his love for his brother Jonathan surpassed the love of a woman. Like, to me, when I read that, it doesn't seem like something gay. But I know dumb Zoomer kids and atheists will read that and they'll get something gay out of it. The gays say David and Jonathan had a sinful relationship. They're disgusting liars. Yeah. Well, and all throughout the story of David and Jonathan, there's a lot of parts like that because the way they talk, and it talks about how much he loves him and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I could see where they would say something like that. I'm gonna write a note here. I'm not gonna write the gays use this in my Bible, but I'm gonna write verses twisted to approve of homosexuality. I've never heard that argument before, but I'm not surprised that they would do that. That Brandon Johnson gay preacher guy probably uses that one. Right? Because Daddy Jub had never betrayed you like a woman will. Yeah, I love Daddy Jub more than I love a woman. Yep. And I've also he's never done me dirty like women have. So, yeah, I've had guy friends that, eh, maybe not. Well, with women is different. It's a lust. It's eros. It's not philia, or I get them all mixed up. Soto, philia, eros. No, I think philia is the sexual one. Or I don't know, but yeah, it's different types of love. Anyway, I wrote verses twisted to approve of homosexuality. Chapter 2. Where was I? I was past chapter 2. David is asking God, should he go up? Woman is not even real love, it's love. It's lust. Facts. But that lust is more intoxicating than like, I love my brother, but I don't gotta talk to him every day. If I see him once a year, that's a lot. I don't think about him all the time or anything like that. But I would say I love him more than any woman that I've ever quote unquote loved. My love for him is more than all those women, but those women you obsess over, especially guys, especially, we got that weakness, especially where you're thinking about them all the time and you get all fuzzy feeling and you just want to be with them all the time. You just need to lay on top of them. It's addictive. It's like a drug. That's why they call heroin heroin. It's the female hero. It's the woman that's coming to save you, but actually is coming to destroy you. That's why they call it heroin. Yep. All right. And the Lord said unto him, go up. And David said, whither shall I go up? And he said, unto Hebron. So David went up thither, and his 2 wives also, Ahinoam and the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, Nabal's wife, the Carmelite. I don't know why they still call her Nabal's wife, the Carmelite. She ain't his wife no more. She's David's wife now. Ain't he dead? I don't know if David killed him, but ain't his wife no more. Why do they still call her, why do they still call Abigail Nabal's wife? That's David's wife now. And his men that were with him did David bring up, every man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying that the men of Jabesh Gilead were they that buried Saul. I need to highlight that because David was just made king. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of the Lord, that ye have showed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. And now the Lord show kindness and truth unto you, and I also will require you this kindness, because ye have done this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. But Abner the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, which I guess that means that not all of Saul's sons died, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. So David is only the king of the house of Judah right now. He's not king over all of Israel. Ishbosheth is the downline of Saul, possibly the only remaining son of Saul. I'm pretty sure. See, it could just mean that all of Saul's sons died that were at the battle. But Ishbosheth is one of Saul's sons, so not all of his sons died. So maybe he, in the patrilineal lineage, he was next in line after all the other sons died. So he became king of Israel. But David is king of the house of Judah. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner the son of Ner and the servants of Ishbosheth the son of Saul went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab the son of Zeruiah and the servant of David went out and met together by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, the one on the other side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, Let the young men now arise and play before us. And Joab said, Let them arise. See, I'm sure that the gays will do something with that verse too. Then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust his sword in his fellow's side, so they fell down together. What? Wherefore that place was called Helkath Hazurim, which is in Gibeon. And there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons. So wait. 12 of the so there's a lake, and there's David and the house of Judah on one side, and then there's Abner and the servants of Ishbosheth on the other side. And they each picked 12. Abner said to Joab, Let the young men now arise and play before us. And Joab said, Let them arise. Then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. So Ishbosheth's 12 of his tribe and 12 of David's tribe, and they caught everyone his fellow by the head and thrust his sword into his fellow's side, so they fell down together. Oh, all of them. It was a mass. Huh. What was this about? Now it's like a mass harikari. So all of them died? 2 Samuel 2:15 and 16. That don't make no sense. A duel between 12 men representing Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and David, with 12 men from each side fighting in Gibeon. Each fighter grabbed their opponent by the head and thrust a dagger into their side, resulting in all 24 men falling down together. This incident is recorded as Helkath Hazurim, meaning the field of daggers. What? Why did they do that? All these things. Let's see some commentary. Enduring word. War between now Abner, Pool, and followers Ishbosheth. Joab. Abner sent a fascinating confrontation. Thrust the sword and so. Let the young Abner suggest some kind of contest or duel between a select group of his men and Joab's men. When the two groups of 12 met, it quickly degenerated into a mutual bloodbath. Yet David's men, under the command of Joab, prevailed in a very fierce battle that followed this bloodbath at the field of sharp swords. And that's, or field of daggers, which is Helkath Hazurim. Helkath Hazurim means field of daggers or field of sharp swords. This was a diabolical play where each man thrust his sword into the body of the other so that the 24 fell down together. Huh. General period. Huh. That's wild. Why would David flee a stronghold? 15 through 16. Commentary. No. 2 Samuel 2:15 and 16. Text describes a violent duel. I get that. What is this from? Commentary. Abner had passed over the pool of Gibeon before to engage in a duel. This is not commentary. You're just showing me the verse. I want commentary. I want to see some scholars. What the scholars got to say about it? Seems like they just did a crazy mass murder. Yeah, mass murder seppuku. Huh. That's wild. But then a battle came, and David wins the battle. And there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah there, Joab and Abishai and Asahel. And Asahel was as light of foot as a wild rose. I think that means he's fast. And Asahel pursued after Abner, and in going, he turned not to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, Art thou Abishai? Absahel? And he answered, I am. And Abner said to him, turn thee aside to thy right hand or to thy left, and lay thee hold on one of the young men, and take thee his armor. But Asahel would not turn aside from following him. And Abner said again to Asahel, turn thee aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? How then should I hold up my face to Joab thy brother? Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner, with the hinder end of the spear, smote him under the fifth rib, that the spear came out behind him. And he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to that place where Abisel fell and died stood still. And Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner. And the sun went down when they were come to the hill of Ammah, that lieth before Giah, by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on top of an hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be then, ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren? And Joab said, as God liveth, unless thou hadst spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up every one from following his brother. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still, and pursued after Israel no more, neither fought they any more. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain, and passed over Jordan, and went through all Bithron, and they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from following Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men, and Asahel. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 360 men died. So David lost 12 men, 13 if you count Asahel. David lost 13 men. The Benjamites and Abner's men lost 360 men. And they took up Absahel and buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at break of day. Well, that was a wild part. This is basically David fights Abner. So David's made king over Judah. Then he fights Abner. Okay. David, if we get to chapter 6 today, we will see David made king over Israel. Right now, he's only king over Judah. R.I.P. Dylan. Who's Dylan? Josh, you look like you belong on 90210 with that hair, looking like a live Luke Perry. Okay. I got like a hawk going on in the bite. I got a little hawk going on in the bite. Ain't got no dang hawk. Ain't got no dang hawk going on in the bite. All right. Chapter 3. Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David, but David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And unto David were sons born in Hebron, and his firstborn was Amon of Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and his second, Chileab of Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. She's not Nabal's wife anymore. Nabal's gone. She's David's wife. And the third, Absalom, the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. He's making babies with another lady too? Where'd this lady come from? In the fourth, Adonijah, the son of Haggith. And the fifth, Shephatiah, the son of Abital. And the sixth, David like Elon Musk out here. And the sixth, Ephraim, by, don't tell me it's a different woman, by Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. So David had 6 kids from 6 different women in Hebron. David's dang like Elon Musk out here in East Greece. And it came to pass, and this is a man after God's own heart. This is how a lot of these like red pill guys will take this stuff and they'll use it to justify polygamy. But you ain't no King David. You ain't no Solomon. And also, if you read and you know the context of David and Solomon, they both have weaknesses to the ladies, and it's not a good thing. It's good to be king. Well, yeah, I guess if you're king, I mean, you know, if you got the money to pay the child support. And it came to pass, while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner made himself strong for the house of Saul. Uh-oh, Abner's about to try to cause a problem. And Saul had a concubine. Well, Saul's dead. And Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah. She got that Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, "Wherefore hast thou gone in unto my father's concubine?" He went in unto her. Dude, Abner went in unto her. And that's Saul's concubine. Abner's out here making babies with Saul's widow, concubine widow. Is a concubine a widow or a widow if her master dies? Little Abner at it again. Abner out here going in unto her. What the? And Ishbosheth is not happy with this. How dare you go in unto my father's concubine? Wow. Then was Abner very wroth for the words of Ishbosheth, and said, "Am I a dog's head, which against Judah do show kindness this day unto the house of Saul thy father, to his brethren and to his friends, and have not delivered thee into the hand of David, that thou chargest me today with a fault concerning this woman?" What do you mean? What am I not? I'm your daddy now. That's basically what he just said. He basically just said, Ishbosheth, I'm your daddy now. I'm taking care of you. I'm making sure David doesn't come and conquer you. And you're going to cry about me sleeping with your dead daddy's concubine? I'm going to go in unto her. So do God to Abner, and more also, except as the Lord hath sworn to David, even so I do to him. I don't know what that means. To translate the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan even to Beersheba. And he could not answer Abner a word again, because he feared him. Oh, Ishbosheth scared. He's like, you know what? He's kind of right. He's kind of right. He is keeping us from being conquered by David right now. He wants to sleep with my dead dad's concubine, I guess. I'll just be quiet about it. Plus, I might get a little brother. And Abner sent messengers to David on his behalf, saying, "Whose is the land?" Saying also, "Make thy league with me, and behold, my hand shall be with thee to bring about all Israel unto thee." And he said, "Well, I will make a league with thee, but one thing I require of thee, that is, thou shalt not see my face, except thou first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when thou comest to see my face." Uh-oh. Abner trying to get with David's first wife, Michal. And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, "Deliver me my wife, Michal, which I espoused to me for 100 foreskins of the Philistines." Remember? That's the one Saul said. Actually, and see, that's actually no, this could be just um an error in the text or in the manuscripts. But well, no, the deal was Saul said, "I'll give you my daughter Michal if you bring me the foreskins of 100 Philistines." And David actually brought him 200 Philistine foreskins. And David married Michal. But if you remember, not too long ago, when Saul was trying to kill David, he actually gave Michal over to a different guy. So Michal is already remarried to a different guy and not to David anymore. But I don't think divorce worked that way back then. What a bargain. Yeah. You want my daughter? You got to bring me 100 foreskins of my enemies. David's like, I got you, bro. And he brings him 200. Which I espoused to me for 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, even from, here it is. Okay, yeah. Took her from her husband, even Phaltiel, the son of Laish. So Michal was married to David, but then when Saul wanted to kill David and David fled into the wilderness, Saul gave Michal to Phaltiel, the son of Lachish. And now Abner tells David, we're going to make a team. We're going to work together. But I want Saul's daughter. I already got his concubine. I also want his daughter. So David's like, all right, go take her from, she's my wife anyway. She was my wife first. Go take her from that guy and give her to Abner. We're going to team up. And her husband went with her along, weeping behind her. Oh, no. Poor Phaltiel. Poor Phaltiel. Come on now. Don't go out like that, my boy. The king's taking your woman. Don't follow after her crying. Come on, Phaltiel. My boy. Bro, you got to tighten up, Phaltiel. That wasn't your woman in the first place. You didn't lose your woman. You just lost your turn, my boy. David already had that. Now she's going to Abner. That's Saul's daughter. She's made for kings. You're just a little Phaltiel. You walk chasing after her crying. Don't do that. At least have some dignity. This is crazy. This is crazy. Her husband went with her along, weeping behind her to Behurim. He's going to end up dying, watch. Then said Abner unto him, go, return, and he returned. Okay, so he just followed her. He just followed her crying, and then he sees the king. And Abner says, get out of here, Phaltiel. And Phaltiel like runs along. He's lucky he didn't get his head chopped off. Dang, speared through. Lucky he didn't get a dang spear through the torso. And Abner had communication with the elders of Israel, saying, ye sought for David in times past to be king over you. Now then do it. For the Lord hath spoken of David, saying, by the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel out of the hand of the Philistines, and out of the hand of all their enemies. And Abner also spake in the ears of Benjamin, and Abner went also to speak in the ears of David in Hebron, all that seemed good to Israel, and that seemed good to the whole house of Benjamin. So Abner came to David to Hebron, and 20 men with him, and David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go, and will gather all Israel unto my lord the king, that they may make a league with thee, and that thou mayest reign over all that thine heart desireth. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from pursuing a troop, and brought in a great spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in peace. When Joab and all the host that was with him were come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he hath sent him away, and he is gone in peace. Okay, how many times are you going to tell us you sent him away and he went in peace? We get it. Then Joab came to the king and said, What hast thou done? Behold, Abner came unto thee. Why is it that thou hast sent him away, and he is quite gone? Thou knowest Abner the son of Ner, that he came to deceive thee, and to know thy going out and thy coming in, and to know all that thou doest. He was spying. He was spying. And when Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sirah, but David knew it not. And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him quietly, and smote him there under the fifth rib, that he died for the blood of Asahel his brother. Joab killed Abner. Abner was spying, and when Abner got back, Joab murked him for the blood of his brother Asahel. He was smoten. He got smitten up. He got smited. Dang. He dead. Abner's dead. Samuel's dead. Saul's dead. David ain't dead. Guess what that means? Michal, come here. You're getting back with me now. Or go back home to Faltiel. Faltiel's still crying in the wilderness somewhere. Go back to Faltiel. I don't even want you, Michal. Hebron sounds like a... I don't know where Michal's going to go, if she's going to be with Faltiel or David, but she's getting passed around like a soggy waffle. I don't know what that means, but... Okay. Where was I? And afterward, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before the Lord forever from the blood of Abner the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house, and let there not fall from the house of Joab one that hath an issue, or that is a leper, or that leaneth on a staff, or that falleth on the sword, or that lacketh bread. So Joab and Oh, I've been saying Abishai. It's Abishai. That's not a L. That's a I. Abishai, his brother, slew Abner. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, slew Abner because he had slain their brother, Absahel. Oh, no, it is Absahel. Okay, there's Abishai and Asahel. Asahel was the one that got killed by Abner. Now Joab and Abishai killed Abner to avenge the blood of their brother. It's the avenger of blood. He's the avenger of blood. He's justified in doing that. David ain't mad at him. And David said to Joab and to all the people that were with him, rend your clothes and gird you with sackcloth and mourn before Abner. And King David himself followed the bier. And they buried Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king lamented over Abner and said, died Abner as a fool dieth. This is very messy. This is a messy story. Oh, what's up, Kat? I didn't realize that was you. Yeah, this is a messy story. Asahel. Yeah, Asahel, Abishai, Joab. Asahel is the one that was fast on his feet, and he was chasing Abner, and he did. He got killed. So they had to avenge the blood. The avenger of blood. They had to get him back. And the king lamented over, I'm guessing by the king they mean David. Because before Abner died, they made a league together, and David was but technically David hasn't been anointed king yet. That doesn't happen until chapter 6. Too much for drama. This is a dramatic story. This has been very dramatic today. We've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of exchanges of power, a lot of exchanges of women. David had 6 babies with 6 different women in like 2 verses. That was quick. And the king lamented over Abner and said, "Died Abner as a fool dieth? Thy hands were not bound, nor thy feet put into fetters. As a man falleth before wicked men, so fellest thou." And all the people wept again over him. And when all the people came to cause David to eat meat while it was yet day, David sware, saying, "So do God to me, and more also, if I taste bread or aught else till the sun be down." So David's fasting. David's on a fast. And all the people took notice of it, and it pleased them, as whatsoever the king did pleased all the people. For all the people and all Israel understood that day that it was not of the king to slay Abner the son of Ner. And the king said unto his servants, "Know ye not that there is a prince and a great man fallen this day in Israel? And I am this day weak, though anointed king, and these men, the sons of Zeruiah, be too hard for me. The Lord shall reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness." But did they do evil? They're just the avengers of blood. And when Saul's son heard that Abner was dead, that's Ishbadesh, or what was his name? What's that guy's name? Ish something. When Saul's son heard that Abner was dead in Hebron, his hands were feeble, and all the Israelites were troubled. Why? This just means David's going to be king now. And Saul's son had 2 men that were captains of bands. The name of the one was Baanah, and the name of the other, Rechab, the sons of Rimmon, a Beorite. Oh, wait. A Beorathite of the children of Benjamin. For Beorath also was reckoned to Benjamin. And the Beorothites fled to Gittaim and were sojourners there until this day. Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son that was lame of his feet. He can't walk. He ain't got no feet. He was 5 years old when the tidings came of Saul and Jonathan out of Jezreel. And his nurse took him up and fled. And it came to pass, as she made haste to flee, that he fell and became lame. And his name was Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth. Let's look at what that means. I bet you it translates to like boy who can't walk. Because that's always how they do the names. Mephibosheth. Bible meaning. In the Bible, Mephibosheth's name means shame destroyer. Hebrew name composed of pa'ah, to cleave or break apart, and boshet, to shame. The name is associated with the son of Jonathan, who is the son of King Saul, and later with another son of Saul. From the mouth of shame. From the mouth of shame. Huh. Anyway, I thought his name was going to be like boy who can't walk good. And the sons of Ramon, the Beerothite, Rechab, and Baana, went and came about the heat of the day to the house of Ishbosheth, who lay on a bed at noon. Mephibosheth and Ishbosheth. Ishbosheth is the first son, who lay on a bed at noon. And they came thither into the midst of the house, as though they would have fetched wheat, and they smote him under the 5th rib. And Rechab, so they killed their brother? They killed their brother? Ishbosheth is their brother. Wait. Oh, wait. No, no, no. No, the sons of Rimmon killed Ishbosheth. Okay. And Rechab and make sure I'm not skipping a page. My pages stick together. And Baanah, his brother, escaped. For when they came into the house, he lay on his bed in his bedchamber, and they smote him and slew him and beheaded him and took his head and gat them away through the plain all night. And they brought the head of Ishbosheth unto David to Hebron and said to the king, Behold, the head of Ishbosheth. David's like, I'm looking at it. I know. What do you think I think it is? The son of Saul, thine enemy, which sought thy life. David's not going to be happy with this. And the Lord hath avenged my lord, the king, this day of Saul and of his seed. And David answered Rechab and Baanah, his brother, the sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite, and said unto them, As the Lord liveth, who hath redeemed my soul out of all adversity, when one told me, saying, Behold, Saul is dead, thinking to have brought good tidings, I took hold of him and slew him in Ziklag, who thought that I would have given him a reward of his tidings. Facts. Okay, that proves my theory. Remember what I said? I said the reason 1 Samuel 31 seems to contradict 2 Samuel 1. The only plausible explanation is that this Amalekite found Saul dead, took his crown and took his bracelet, and brought it to David and lied and said that he killed Saul because he thought he would be rewarded by David for killing Saul. But instead, David killed him because David was not happy that he had killed Saul. And it says it right here. When one told me, saying, Behold, Saul is dead, thinking to have brought good tidings, I took hold of him and slew him, who thought that I would have given him a reward for his tidings. So that proves it. That proves it. I'm going to write actually a note to reference this verse. I don't know where my pen went. Dude, I'm so smart. I knew it was going to. I'm like a Bible scholar. Dude, even the scholars couldn't figure that out. They didn't reference me to this verse. I had to find it myself. Where is my pen? Bruh. Why? See, Google didn't know this. I knew this. Explains the Amalekite. The Amalekites lie in 2 Samuel. Did I just say 2 Samuel? That annoys me. 2 Samuel chapter 1. And then I'm going to reference it. So this is 2 Samuel 4:10. Reference 2 Sam 4:10. Let me see if they have any note in here. B. There is a. It does reference you to chapter 4, verse 10, but it's not. So it's kind of like a lead into this verse, actually. So it is in here. There's a little B. And the young man that told him said, As I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, and there's a little note. It says B, and when you go to B, it says chapter 4:10. So the Bible does reference you to chapter 4:10 for this section, but Google doesn't. So if I went through all these references, I would have got that answer. But I had to figure it out on my own. Great. So we solved it. We solved the problem. A Bible scholar and a gentleman. A scripture slewer. I slewn that script. I smoted it. Okay. Verse 11. How much more when wicked men have slain a righteous person, slewn. How much more when wicked men have slain a righteous person in his own house upon his bed? Shall I not therefore now require his blood of your hand and take you away from the earth? Yeah, David ain't happy that you killed dang Ishbodesh in his dang bed. While Ishbosheth, y'all think you did David a favor? You made a mistake. And David commanded his young men, and they slew them and cut off their hands and their feet and hanged them up over the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of Ishbosheth and buried it in the sepulchre of Abner in Hebron. Dang. They cut off their hands and their feet and then hung them above a pool. David don't play. So these dudes killed Saul's son, Ishbosheth, and then they ran back to David and they're like, hey, David, guess what? We killed Ishbosheth for you. And David's like, you guys are just like that Amalekite that thought you were doing me a favor when he killed Saul. And guess what? You're going to have the same fate that he had. I'm about to slice and dice you. About to slice and dice you. Josh, I read years ago a verse in the Old Testament. It was God promising the Jews if they didn't sin, he wouldn't curse them with abortions, aka natural death of the baby. But the word was abortion. What's the verse? Hands and feet and foreskins. These fellas were the real deal. It doesn't say he cut off their foreskins. No, because they're well, I think they're Israelites, so they already don't have foreskins. They don't have foreskins to cut off. Just the Philistines still have foreskins. Word used was abortion, and God explicitly said it was a curse. But when I Googled if abortion was in the Bible, Google said no. But abortion natural was a curse. How much worse a planned death of a baby? Yeah, the word abortion is not in the Bible. I'm not sure what you're referencing, but yeah, that makes sense, but I just don't know what verse you're talking about. The only thing Oh, so Google lies. Wait, you're saying Google says that abortion is not in the Bible, but you saying that you saw it in the Bible. What kind of translation were you reading, though? Because I don't think the word abortion is in the Bible. The only thing that can even be construed as abortion is the cursed water in Deuteronomy. And that's not really about abortion. The bitter water. Remember, if the woman is suspected of cheating, they give her the cursed water, and it gives her a rotting thigh and makes her barren. That's the only thing I can think of that seems anything like. Just saying Google doesn't always get Bible verses right. Yeah, I know. But when I Google it, I just read the AI, but then I look at the links that it's sending me to and also look at the search results. Eschew, obfuscation, espouse, elucidation. What the heck are you talking about? Google obfuscates. Eschew, obfuscation, espouse, elucidation. Eschew, obfuscation, espouse, elucidation. Dude, that's a tongue twister. Eschew, it means you're saying get rid of confusing stuff and speak clear stuff. Is that what that means? Eschew obfuscation, get rid of confusing stuff. Espouse elucidation, speak clearly. Speak information. Get rid of Jeremiah had a stroke. I know. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what that means. I do know what it means, but I can't say it. Eschew obfuscation, espouse elucidation. Your spouse had a hallucination. What? Okay. Chapter 5. David made king over Israel. This is going to be the last chapter today. I got to get some sleep. Chapter 5. We got to see David made king. We got to get that crown on his head. Chapter 5. Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and spake, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. Also in time past, when Saul was king over us, thou wast he that leadest out and broughtest in Israel. And the Lord said to thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be a captain over Israel. So all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron, and King David made a league with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel. Okay, I highlighted when he was made king over Judah. This is when now he's king. He was just king over Judah. Now he's king over all of it. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron, he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months. And in Jerusalem, he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah. What the heck is that? I don't know what that sound is. And the king and his men went to Jerusalem unto the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, which spake unto David, saying, Except thou take away the blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither. Thinking David cannot come in hither. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion, the same as the city of David. And David said on that day, Whosoever giveth up to the gutter, and smiteth the Jebusites, and the lame and the blind that are hated of David's soul, he shall be chief and captain. Wherefore they said, The blind and the lame shall not come into the house. It's kind of ableist, don't you think? They're not letting any... Why is he not letting any blind or lame people into the village? What the... So David dwelt in the fort and called it the city of David. And David built round about from Millo and inward. And David went on and grew great, and the Lord God of hosts was with him. And Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David, and cedar trees, and carpenters, and masons, and they built David an house. And David perceived that the Lord had established him king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for his people Israel's sake. The Lord established him king over Israel. And David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem. You need more? Yeah, that's what it is to be king. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. I'm gonna be a mighty king and have some concubines. I got a bunch of pretty wives. I'm hitting them from behind. Oh, wait. That's not very appropriate, but I need to make babies. I got Nala. She's pretty hot, but I need some more ladies. That's the remix. Remix! And David and David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem after he was come from Hebron. And there were yet sons and daughters born to David. And these be the name of those that were born unto him in Jerusalem: Shamua, Shamua, Shamua. Is that a killer whale? Shamua and Shobab, and Nathan and Solomon. Solomon. That's the first mention of our boy, the wisest. Also got a weakness for the ladies and the concubines. Solomon, Ibhar also, and Elishua. Is Elishua Elijah? Take away the lame. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. He didn't let the lame or the blind people into the city. Ableist. Ugh. Kind of base, though. Ibhar also, and Elishua. Is Elishua Elijah? No. No, Elisha was not a son of David. Elisha was the son of Shaphat, a landowner, and Abel Mahola. He was also the disciple and successor of the prophet Elijah. David was king, and his sons include Solomon, Absalom, and Amnon. Well, he's got a lot of sons. In Hebron, he had 6 sons. It just looked like Elishua. It's Elishua. Or Elishua. And Nepheg, that almost sounds like a word I'm not allowed to say. And Japhia, and Elishama, and Eliada, and Eliphalet. But when the Philistines heard that they had anointed David king over Israel, all the Philistines came up to seek David. Bro, y'all making a mistake. You know what happened last time the Philistines messed around with David? They lost 200 foreskins. That's what happened. And David heard of it and went down to the hold. The Philistines also came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up to the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into mine hand? And the Lord said unto David, Go up, for I will doubtless deliver the Philistines into thine hand. Uh-oh. These Philistines making a mistake. And David came to Baal-perazim, and David smote them there, and said, The Lord hath broken forth upon mine enemies before me, as the breach of waters. Therefore he called the name of that place Baal-perazim. And there they left their images, and David and his men burned them. And the Philistines came up yet again, and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And when David inquired of the Lord, he said, Thou shalt not go up, but fetch a compass behind them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. And let it be, when thou hearest the sound of a going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt bestir thyself, for then shall the Lord go out before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. And David did so as the Lord had commanded him, and smote the Philistines from Geba until thou come to Gazer. So David just out here smiting Philistines left and right. You'd think they'd learn their lesson. Stop messing with David. Don't play with David. David don't play. He's out here making sons, getting some concubines, conquering Philistines, wiping out Amalekites. You don't want to play with my boy. You don't want to play with my boy David. Daiwai. You know what David is in Japanese? I just told you. It's Daiwai. And my name is Yorkshua. Wait. Yeah. Joshua in Japanese is Yorkshua. And David in Japanese is Daiwai. I know this because when I was in Christian school, a Japanese missionary lady came. It was like not like a career day, but she was like a guest speaker at our school, and she was telling us about her mission in Japan. And we're like, "Oh, can you speak some Japanese? Teach us some Japanese words." And she's like, "Arigato" means thank you, and "domo" means very much. "Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto." We said, well, some kids were like, but she didn't really speak a whole lot of Japanese. So we're like, do you know our names in Japanese? And she's like, well, I only know your names in Japanese if they're biblical names. And I remember David said, what's my name in Japanese? And she said, Daiwai. And then I said, what's my name in Japanese? And she said, Yorkshua. Yorkshua. Daiwai. So my name in Japanese is Yorkshua. That's it for today with the reading, guys. Check this out. But boom! Since the chat helped me pay for this, we got it, boys. We got it, boys. Oh, you got a PS5? This is like 2 PS5s. And this is only a piece. This is only one piece. Saturday night. We'll probably do one of these tomorrow, but maybe not. Actually, Fridays, usually I don't on Fridays. Sometimes on Fridays we do, because we do VK Friday night, and I like to get my sleep before VK. And I need to clean a little more before we build the computer. Whoa, cat! What the? Thanks for spilling all the biblical tea for us. Hey, sometimes these Bible streams are super boring. Sometimes they're very exciting and entertaining. It just depends on what we're reading that day. Like, but thank you. You're awesome. I do have my soundboard up. I don't know if that's playing. I don't have my headphones on. Thank you, Kat. You're awesome. I usually don't even ask for super chats and stuff during these Bible streams, because I know that they're not I'm just sitting here usually reading the Bible. But some days, if we're in Leviticus and we're reading about the schematics for a tabernacle for 2 days, it can get kind of dull. And I can't make that super exciting. But sometimes we get really exciting stories. And today was one of those days. But tomorrow we probably won't have one of these. What I'm going to do is tomorrow morning after work and after the gym, I'm going to come home. I'm going to wipe everything down, dust everything again. I dusted yesterday, but I need to dust again. I need to move this. I need to make as much space as possible. I need to wipe this table down again, wipe that table down, because the sponge that I used yesterday must have been kind of grungy, because this doesn't feel clean. But get everything cleaned up. We'll do VK Friday night. We'll do the after VK panel Friday night. And then I'll probably end a little early Friday night. I'll try to. I always say that, and then I end up staying up till 11 a.m. streaming. But I'd like to end by 7 or 8 a.m. on Friday so that I can sleep all day. Wake up as early as possible on Saturday. There is fights on Saturday, but they start very early. The main card Saturday night. Gilbert Burns is fighting, but the main card starts at 4:30 p.m. Usually I don't wake up till like 6 or 7 p.m. So uh, if the main card starts at 4:30, that means the headline fight, the main event fight, will probably be at 6:30. So I might wake up in time to see the Gilbert Burns fight, but pretty much I'll probably miss the fights Saturday because they're too early. And we'll start the stream. We're just going to get into building this computer. Everything is a blessing from you guys. My goal on New Year's, I said my goal is to build a new computer by Christmas. And it's, I don't know what month it is. January, February, March, April, May. It's May. And it's done. I got it. So thank you guys. The graphics card. The AIO. This is a very nice, that's a nice graphics card. This is a very nice AIO cooler, CPU cooler. The PSU, basically this is what gives your computer power. This is the power unit. This is a very nice PSU also. The Lee and Lee Edge is 1300 watt. It's way more than I need. But if I ever upgrade to a different graphics card, it'll be nice. CPU. This is a AMD 9950X. One of the best. It's not an X3D, but it's just the X. The X3D is better for gaming, but this is better for all around stuff. And I don't just do gaming. I do streaming and editing and music and stuff. So this is better, but this is the CPU. 64 gigs of RAM. And I think the computer I'm upgrading from, I think has 8 gigs of RAM. Has a 1660 Ti graphics card. This is a 5070 Ti. Huge upgrade. We're upgrading like crazy. 64 gigs of RAM. Windows 11 Pro. And this is a 512. It might even be 256 gigabyte. I think it's 512. Maybe it's a terabyte. No. This laptop, I think, is 512 gigabytes hard drive. This is a 4 terabyte hard drive. Solid state drive, I should say, but. So that's it. And then the case is over there. The monitor's over there. They're big. I'm not going to pick them up and show you right now, but we'll see it all. We'll see it all the other night. It's a MSI Gun Gear 300R Airflow. Awesome case. Sick case. It's a 32-inch curved 2K MSI monitor. So it's going down. Saturday night, we're going to build the dang thing. Going to be my first time ever building a PC. So I'm pretty hype. But thank you, Kat. You are awesome. Yeah, I don't even like plug the Cash App or the Super Chats when I do the Bible streams because I'm usually low energy and tired, and a lot of times they're very boring. It just depends on what we're reading. But you caught a fun one today. We got some drama today. David's all about that drama life. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night, Friday night. I got to work tonight. I won't be back tomorrow morning. Maybe, probably not though. Let's just count on no Bible study show tomorrow morning. It may happen, but 90% chance it doesn't happen unless I just feel like doing it, but probably not. I'm just a girl. Oh, wait, how's that song go? Beautiful girls all over the world. I could be dancing, but my could be wasted. But Friday night we will do VK. We will have the after panel. Um, and then Saturday, probably gonna miss the fights, but Saturday night we're building it. I'm excited. I'm very excited. La. Very nice. Cat being bashful. I can't do a cat impression, but I can hear her voice in my head. Wait. I'm so shy. Wait, I can't. My voice doesn't go that high pitched. I can't do it. Hold on. I can't do it. I can't make my voice go that squeaky. I'm trying to say I'm so shy in Cat's voice, but I can't do it. Maybe if I inhale. I'm so shy. Nope, that doesn't work. I can't do a cat impression. It's my voice does not go to that octave. It's like a 79 key keyboard, and I'm in like this range. I need like an 81 key keyboard, and I need to get up into this range. I don't got it. I can't do it. Someone said I sound like a mouse. Yeah. If I had a helium balloon, I could do a cat impression. But what does this look like? Party City? What do you think? I just got helium tanks laying around? Nope. So I can't do it. All right, guys. I got to go. I got to get some sleep. I got to work tonight. One more night. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Somebody's calling me. Somebody's calling me from Virginia. Cat, how'd you get my number? James, how'd you... No, wait. Cat's in West Virginia. James, how'd you get my number, James? Somebody from Virginia is calling me. Dude, I don't answer phone numbers I don't know. Don't do it. I don't do it. Sometimes I feel like I should and just mess with them. Probably it's like bill collectors or something from like forever ago. Helium. I'm very shy. Chase. I'm very shy. I'm shy. I'm so shy. I can't do it. Okay. Guys, where can I raid you to? Probably send you over to AC. I don't even answer numbers I do know. Yeah, me too sometimes. Depends. Depends on who you are and what you calling for. You know, I would answer my mom if she called, or my brothers, but other than that, probably not. Probably not gonna answer the phone. Probably not gonna happen. I don't know why this Virginia number keeps calling me though. I think James got my phone number. Let's see. Looks like Jim Bob and Jay Dyer dug into the Mormons, and now Andrew called out the Mormons on X, and there's a whole like Mormon saga starting now with the Crucible. I did my whole Mormon saga like years ago. I'm a Mormon person expert. I'm an expert on the Mormons. They won't do a debate, but they will. What they will do is they will knock on your door, and you can kind of lull them into a false sense of security, and then you can like drop bombs on them and like force them into a debate. I've told them basically in a very nice, loving way, I think Joseph Smith is a false prophet. And here's why. And then I've gone through all the Bible verses that talk about how you can tell if a prophet is fake. And then I've got into all the problems in the Book of Mormon. The the real crazy part is the Pearl of Great Price. That one's crazy. That book is crazy. And especially if you know the lore on the Pearl of Great Price, that's where it gets wild. Um looks like I'll send you over to grid 1. Incoming bomb. James Conn talk about my car's extended warranty. Incoming bomb. I don't know what that's all about, but I'll send you guys over to grid 1. God bless, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you so much, Kat. You're awesome. And I will catch you guys on VK. It's going to be me, not my brother Jason. He's back in San Francisco, gaying it up. He's out there queering. So he'll be back someday, but not for a couple weeks. So it's going to be me this time, but go put some chairs in grid 1's chat. I'll see you guys later. Tomorrow night. God bless. Peace.